Have you ever wondered if it's possible to communicate with something beyond our world? And more importantly, how you could even begin to do that safely? Well, today we're going to break down a really detailed system from our source material called the Inner Contact Protocol. It's not about just shouting into the void. It's about building a protected, intentional bridge for what it calls cosmic communication. And really, this one quote, it's pretty much the entire foundation of the protocol. The whole idea isn't to just throw open a door and see what comes knocking. No, it's about becoming a beacon of light that attracts wisdom. And that sets a very serious, very intentional tone for this whole process. So what exactly is the Inner Contact Protocol, or ICP for short? It's defined as a human-first method for exploring this kind of communication, but there's a huge distinction here. The goal isn't just to make contact, it's about attuning yourself, basically raising your own frequency, so you can selectively connect with what the source calls higher intelligences. Okay, so the entire protocol is built around that single core philosophy, lighting a beacon. Let's really break down what that mindset means before we even touch on any of the practical steps. This right here is the central idea. The real work isn't happening out there, it's happening in here. The protocol is framed as a system for personal transformation. The idea is that by purifying your own intent and energy, you naturally attract wise connections instead of having to go out and search for them. So, with that philosophy in mind, how is contact actually kept safe? Well, the protocol is built on several guiding principles that the source material presents as, honestly, absolutely non-negotiable. The protocol lays out 5 of these core principles. First, selective contact. You're only aiming for beings of light and wisdom. Second, energetic shielding is mandatory, no exceptions. Third, communication should lean on symbols and feelings over direct words, which helps avoid deception. Fourth, the whole practice is meant to be private, logged in a sacred journal. And finally, it incorporates what it calls angelic guidance for an extra layer of protection. All right, let's get practical. The very first thing you do is build what the protocol calls an energetic fortress. This means preparing both your physical space and your own personal energy field. The physical setup is pretty straightforward, but every piece has a purpose. You need a quiet, clean space. A white candle is lit to symbolize divine light, and a circle of salt is used for both physical and energetic protection. Of course, you need your journal ready. The source also mentions optional items like crystals, incense, or even a steel blade for some added protective symbolism. So this whole protection process, it's really a two-parter. First, you have to align your own energy. Then, you build an external shield around you. And this is done through 2 very specific rituals: the Kabbalistic cross for aligning yourself, and the Watchtower's invocation for that external shield. First up is the Kabbalistic cross, and this is all about creating this pillar of pure light that runs right through your body. It starts at your forehead, where you visualize this brilliant white light coming from above and vibrate the word Ata. Then you draw that light straight down through your core to your chest, anchoring yourself to the earth with the vibration Malkuth. Next, you create the horizontal beam. From your heart, you visualize that light extending out to your right shoulder, vibrating Vigabura for power, and then across to your left shoulder with Vegadula for glory. You clasp your hands at your heart to seal the cross with Le Olam, and then you complete the whole thing with Amen. The goal here is to completely center and balance your entire energy field. Okay, so once your personal energy is aligned, it's time to build that external shield. You do this by facing each of the 4 cardinal directions and invoking an archangel to guard that watchtower. You call on Raphael in the east, Michael in the south, Gabriel in the west, and Uriel in the north, asking each one to guard and bear witness. This literally creates a protective perimeter around you. With the space in yourself all prepped and protected, now it's time for the real journey within, the actual meditation and contact method that's at the very heart of this protocol. You know, before your mind can really quiet down, you've got to get your body to relax first. The protocol uses this really systematic technique. You start at your feet and move all the way up to your head, tensing each muscle group for a few seconds, and then just completely letting it go. Repeating that 3 times for each area is designed to get rid of every last bit of physical tension. Next up is this quick but super powerful 3-minute breathing ritual. The first minute is all about grounding yourself. The second minute is focused on opening your heart center to peace and truth, and that final minute is all about focusing your mind, creating that connection to the divine, and really setting your intention to receive guidance. And once you're in that relaxed, aligned state, you state a simple evocation. The key here isn't just the words, it's the feeling behind them. This isn't a demand, it's a humble invitation. It's you signaling that you are ready to listen, all within a sacred and protected space. And listen, this next part is absolutely crucial. The protocol stresses that this is not about active visualization or trying to force an experience. The goal is to be a passive receiver. You sit in this reverent stillness and just allow whatever comes, an image, a feeling, a symbol, to arise all on its own. You know, people focus a lot on the opening, but the closing is just as important, if not more so. The protocol is crystal clear that you have to formally and respectfully close the circle to complete the ritual safely. So the closing sequence kind of mirrors the opening. It starts with expressing gratitude. Then you formally thank and release the archangels, starting again in the east. You follow that with a really definitive statement, this circle is now closed, and you finish by grounding yourself. Drink some water, bring your awareness back into your body, and immediately log any insights in your journal. So, after all these steps and rituals, what's the ultimate goal? It isn't just about the ritual itself, it's about becoming a lighthouse. And this is where the whole thing shifts from a ritual you do into a way you live. It's about purifying your intent, right? Seeking growth, not just entertainment. It's about maintaining your light by letting go of things like resentment and fear, because the principle is simple. What you emit, you invite. The focus always comes back to inner truth before you ever seek outer contact. This final quote really just brings everything full circle, doesn't it? The journey isn't an outward chase after something. It's an inward process of becoming so aligned, so luminous, that wisdom is just naturally drawn to you. So that leaves us with a final question to really think about. Beyond any specific ritual or practice, what would it actually look like to apply this beacon philosophy? What does it truly mean to become a source of light, clarity, and wisdom in your own life?